John Piper with the Weekend Video, and it's Saturday the 16th of April. Start with Bitcoin as usual. We saw this peak here, which I'm counting as the completion of the third wave up, around 65,000 odd, 64,500 odd. But then since that day, which is actually in April, so it's almost exactly, well, yes, exactly, I guess, a year ago, we've had this correction running ever since, with an A wave down to here, a B wave up to here, 68,000, and a regular B wave in an ABC form. We've now got what looks like an A down to here. This looks like a B wave, ABC, with a C wave now starting up. Now, if the C wave is the same length as the A wave, then a move down to the 20s is suggested. I mean, this went from 68 down to around 32, so a little over half. So in percentage terms, 48 to 24. In actual terms, a little bit lower than that. But that seems to be what's being called for here. If we go down a leg here, look at a slightly shorter term chart, we can see that this C wave I'm talking about is seen a 1, a 2, looks like maybe a, sorry, the cursor's gone a bit here. It could be a 3 down to there, I guess, with a 4 there, or there could be one more leg to come. So but it's not clear the low's in at this point. So if this is way, if it's a C wave, it could be five-part move. So this could be the first wave forming. It looks like it probably needs a bit more further to go first before we get a bounce, perhaps, and then we're going to, I believe, see a move into the 20s again. From that point, though, the correction should be out the way, and at that point, I expect a very solid rally. So that should be a great buying opportunity coming forward, which I'm doing my best to identify, obviously. In the meantime, if we do get a 2 wave, then I'll also try and identify the selling point, which worth joining on this downside move that looks likely from the charts. A little Ethereum now. Ethereum is a little more positive in the sense that we have got a possible complete ABC. I think that's the corresponding low we've seen so far on Bitcoin, with a possible 5 here. An ABC, and a regular ABC to there, bit of a triangle in fact, and this could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, but if this proves to be impulsive, let me go down leg again, which it may well do, then Ethereum will also join the same pattern that we're seeing on Bitcoin, expecting this actually to be another leg down, and that could be the case. Already we've got quite a big 4th wave, but it's still way above the 1 wave, so it could still be a 1, 2, 3 to there. This could be an A, B, C, but if so, we need to see some impulsive action here, and we're not really seeing it. We're seeing just this dithery thing that's not really terribly encouraging. I mean, what could be, this is an A, B, C, this is an A, B, C, so a bit more upside to come, rather like on Bitcoin, but then if that starts to fall away and this doesn't really generate any acceleration, then I think the same count as on Bitcoin applies. But right now the wave pattern's a bit more positive on Ethereum, but it does need to be confirmed, and we're just not seeing that right at this point in time. It was a very positive count, really, and we've got wave 2 here, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 of 3, 2 of 3, then another 1 of 3, oh sorry, 1 of 3 of 3, triangular almost, yes, triangular 5-part move down to here as 2 of 3 of 3, and now we're in the third of a third of a third, so gold's looking very, very positive at the moment. I'm just seeing a very strong rally on gold. Let me just kind of condense this a little bit. Okay, that's slightly better. And we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC, and this looks like the beginning of the next leg up, which could accelerate at any minute, basically. So if this is a 1, that's a 2, and this is a 3rd wave, then we're right at the point where we're due to see an accelerated move upwards. And I guess with the war situation, that's not so unlikely, as it were, as precious metals tend to go to the fore. They are, and crypto should maybe as well. I mean, perhaps there's a bigger question mark about cryptos because they're not so widely accepted, and gold is the traditional store of value, but of course cryptos are far more movable from place to place, They can be carried around or just sent electronically very easily, whereas gold, of course, is not quite so simple, as it weighs quite a lot, depending on the amount of gold you have, obviously. Yes, it looks it looks very good on gold. And I mean, having said that, this could be an ABC. Okay, so that's obviously one, and that can mean we've got a sort of an A, a B, and a C coming in. But I think that's probably unlikely. But it's actually worth. I think it'll become a bit clearer. If we don't see the acceleration I'm expecting, let me just expand this chart slightly. Then, I mean, it could be an ABC. That would be quite acceptable. But I would just have a look at the form of this a little more closely, just to see whether the correction is looking finished or not. I mean, it could be an A, B, C, B, C. So yeah, that looks complete, really. But this also has yet to prove itself. Really, we've got a 1, 2, 1, 2 perhaps, but we just need that confirmation. Otherwise, we could see an A, B, C. But even so, even if it goes further, it will still be a correction. I'm still looking for higher prices on gold in the not too distant future, basically. And I think the situation in Ukraine is able to aid that move, and whatever Putin decides to do next week, he may feel that nobody's really intervened to stop him on the Ukraine, but he may as well go a bit further. I mean, I think Germany disarmed recently, and if you do that kind of thing, it's I think almost like an invitation in hindsight, as is such a weak president as Putin, as Biden. I must get my names right. It's interesting, really, but electing someone like Biden, who is well, obviously very feeble in a number of ways, has not strengthened the world at all. And his inability in Afghanistan, for example, is used, has been used, showing that Putin feels free to do what he wants to do. Rather like actually in Margaret Thatcher's time, when she took action in the Falklands, that was a sign of strength and stopped people like Putin doing stuff, because he knew there's somebody around who would not take any nonsense, as it were. There was a video by David Murrins. I'm going to post underneath on all these things, which explains it far better than I do, and sets out his own view, obviously, rather than my view. Is that you may hear this twice, because I actually managed to not record part of my original recording. So gold is actually the last thing I'm recording. And I can't quite recall where I said this in the previous recording. So you may have to hear this twice, but you can always fast forward if you need to. Anyway, back onto silver. Right, as far as silver is concerned, we have this clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, a rather small 2 and a rather big 4, but the count does look valid. ABC down to there, maybe an A wave, A, B, and a C, rather small C wave again, so looking a little bit dodgy, but let me expand this chart again. So since I had a 1, a 2, what could be a 1, 2, 3, this overlaps in fact with the 1 wave, so the count's a bit confused. And it's bouncing around the previous highs. Let me just get those back into focus again. So the previous high was around 30, and we're sort of hesitating around 26, and the wave pattern is looking a little bit uncertain. So it's possibly going to go down here, but it's quite a big correction. We've already had, and that certainly looks like a clear 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that was the correct part of the corrective move beforehand. 1, 2. It's a bit of a difficult count, really. I mean, gold looks pretty clear. This looks a little bit messy. So I think the key thing is whether this rally continues, essentially. If we start to fail and break this low here, that would change things. But at the moment, I think it is probably, it's a matter of choice whether you want to be long or silver. I think the market will rally in this war situation, along with gold. But exactly whether this is the start of that, I'm not too clear on silver. A bit clearer on gold, however. So on to the equities. Well, looking at FTSE, the all-time peak came in here around 7,900. We're pretty close at now, around 7,700. This looks a pretty impulsive move. That could be a 1, a 2, 3 maybe to here, 4 to there. Let's put that count on the chart. It's looking a bit messy, this count. Well, that's a bit clearer. So that could be a 1, a 2. This could be a 3, a messy 3, but no clear third of a third really. That's not too bad, I suppose, but not that dramatic either. 4. I think there's certainly a chance we're going to see new all-time highs, given that we got so close. I mean, it's 7.9 odd, opposed to 7.7 almost. So it wouldn't take much to push us over that peak. But I think having got to that peak, having 5 waves up, given the world situation, I think at that point we could see a major decline, which might even take out the low down here. In fact, I mean, it just depends how things work out, I guess. But certainly a retest of 6.7 would be on the cards, I think, as a minimum probably. But let's wait for the high first before we get too carried away and see exactly what happens. But I think there's a fair chance we'll make that new high on FTSE. The DAX is in the same situation really, with a 1, 2, 3, ABC 4. And now there's 5th wave rally coming in. It's already new high territory. Let's have a look at the shape of the action since that peak came in. Must be a year or so ago, mustn't it? Yes. Over a year ago. So we had the wave 4 is there, 1, 2. Quite a big decline here. I mean, this could be an impulsive decline on the DAX. Obviously, the situation that in Europe is not going to help, other than defence stocks, of course, which may well do very well, unless something dire happens to the companies later on in the proceedings, as it were. Go to a slightly shorter term chart. These are all the condensed on here. Okay. So we've certainly got a big ABC here. With the peak there. This could be a 1, 2, 3. But, it's looking very unsettled at the moment. I mean, clearly the situation in Europe is not good. And I think, although FTSE is a little bit out of it, we have a fairly strong army, so we've got the defence as well. The DAX, I understand Germany disarmed, in fact, which I guess is another sort of lure, another thing you do, almost well inviting people to attack you, I suppose. And I guess electing Biden is a similar kind of thing, really. You have a very weak president, and then he failed dismally in Afghanistan. All these Americans, I can't say who's to blame, but you just make other people think, like Putin, well, now's a good time to give it a go, I suppose, which is not what we want. We need to strengthen the world. I mean, it's a sort of first principle, I would have thought, but it seems to have been forgotten by some countries recently, and this is what the result is, I suppose. I mean, I can't say I would have picked that myself, but I think in hindsight it's fairly clear. Anyway, this could be an ABC. This looks pretty impulsive, however. Sorry, that would confirm the ABC. So I'm not, I think the DAX may well be going down from here, given what's going on at the moment. And the wave pattern does tend to, this could be a big A wave, a big B wave, and there's going to be a C wave in process. Let's go on to the next market. Same goes to the S&P. I label this as a peak back here. That's the beginning of the year. A, B, C. This here is looking impulsive again, so I think we've got another ABC here. So I think again we're going to go down. Get rid of that count. Put the other one. Pushed the wrong button. Then I'm a bit rusty after two weeks break. Anyway, ABC A, ABC B, and this looks like it might have been impulsive move taking us down. It could be part of B, in fact, or it could in fact be. But it could be impulsive, but it's if so, it's a 1, 2, 1, 2, and this does look pretty sharp, really. So I'm inclined to go to the downside at this point in time. And I think the attack on Ukraine has highlighted some rather strong problems. I mean, weakness in the US, which shouldn't really be there, I guess, but it is. And I guess it's probably not helping the situation. Now, if I have a look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq similar. We had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was the last chart I showed you. This is the last chart I showed you, basically. Then had this rally here. Now maybe this is again it was quite a sharp decline here. It looks impulsive in fact. So this may be all the correction we're going to get, even though it hasn't got an ABC form, or maybe we're going to see an ABC and it will manage to go higher. But at the moment it's a little bit open. But I think the 5-wave count here is a little bit premature. So where's the actual retracement go to? It's down here, isn't it? Sorry. Right, so right on the. That's actually a 6.8% retracement. This is the wrong way around, as it were. But bang on it, in fact, right at 4th wave resistance as well. Yeah, I think it's a fair chance this will continue. Let's have a look in a bit more detail, actually, that might make some sense. Okay, expand that. So I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could be an ABC, having seen a 5th wave here, we see a correction, then the 5th wave. That would suggest we are in a major down move, obviously we'll track that as we go forward. But it does look like it looks a very impulsive move. In fact, I mean that's quite sharp. It's not an ABC, but as you expect with a correction, 1, 2, 3, 4. That looks like it's making new lows for a 5th wave. Then perhaps a feeble bounce back to 14,300 or thereabouts, followed by one more leg down. That's a 5th wave. Potentially seeing a bit of a rally and then another plunge later on. That's all for today. Financial useful. I'll be back with a report on Tuesday. Please feel free to get in touch, and it's well worth listening to the Marine video which I posted below. So WhatsApp. Have a great weekend. Thanks for listening, and bye.